Life. We use the word life for a lot of things. There's a magazine titled Life. There was a television show titled Life. Perhaps when I say the word life, you think of the cereal and might remember that Mikey likes it. Or you think of the board game titled Life. It's an entire game made up of living a life, a game of choice. You choose your education level, your career, who you marry, your house, and even the gender of your children, although the number you have is still left to chance. You can even choose how you wish to retire. And all of these choices are set in a positive frame of mind. There's nothing in the game to indicate or illustrate negativity or even death. A life jacket or a life preserver is intended to keep one's life safe. And generally, we consider life, human life, to be valued. And we look for ways to protect life. Life jackets, seatbelts, sunblock. I'm sure you can think of things that I have not mentioned. We even have written rules and laws meant to protect life, although we as the human race cannot take all the credit for that. One might say that God valued life so much, the very life God created in God's own image, that protecting life was issued as a commandment. Not a suggestion, a commandment. In fact, it is the 6th commandment, the first of the commandments about how to live with your neighbor, how to live in community. Framed in a positive phrase, the 6th commandment is honor life. And I've known for a while that I would be the one to preach on this topic and to preach on the commandment, do not kill. I began planning this sermon as I do with most other sermons. I began reading and researching, looking into the context of the commandment and examining the commandment from the role as an Air Force chaplain. And then things happened. Things changed. The killings in Orlando happened, and it rattled me. It shook me to the core to know that something needed to be said. No, what shook me was not knowing how to say what needed to be said and figuring out how to name the fear and name the emotions, the rage, fear of not saying the right thing. So I continued to prepare, more reading, and looking at the human rights aspect of the commandment, relating this commandment to you and to me, to us, and how we live out this commandment. And then, looking back, I had no clue that another round of death and shootings would arise before I would actually get to deliver this message, even as I was preparing and writing. My thoughts have been a mess. And there's a tension about it all. It's been a roller coaster of emotion. Sitting down to write has been tough. It's tough to see the screen through the tears. It's tough to hear the words when the breaking of hearts and the sounds of fear are so loud. Do not kill. Yet we seem to be living it out each day. We turn to our source of news and we read or we hear of lives being taken. We hear of Alton Sterling being shot by police in Baton Rouge. The very next day, we hear of Philando Castile shot by police in a Minneapolis suburb. And then, not even 24 hours later, a sniper takes out multiple police officers in Dallas. Do not kill. It's that simple. There is no more than that. It's not qualified with exceptions. The commandment does not say, do not kill people because of their skin color. Do not kill people because they look this way or that way. And do not kill people that came from here or from there. Do not kill based on who people love or people that think differently than you or me. The commandment says, do not kill. And what are we doing? We're killing. And at what point did we lose the value of life? What are we doing? Killing, devaluing life. And for what reason? Oh, I'm sure people can and will come up with justifications for killing. But let's face it, it boils down to fear. As simple as that, fear. From the very first murder, fear. So take a moment and look at your bulletin cover. The image does not come from any of our texts today. The image is of Cain killing Abel. And why? Why did Cain kill Abel? Out of fear. Fear that he would not be accepted. Fear that he would not be good enough. Fear turned into anger, and anger that Abel's offering was better than his own. Anger. And you know what? The Lord called him out on it. Listen in on their conversation. The Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it." Sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you. Sin will be waiting at the door, ready to strike. It will entice you, but you must rule over it. You must master it. So what do we do? What do we do with the feelings that we have? What do we do with the anger and the rage that wells up within us as we watch these horrific events unfold before us? Because sin is lurking at our door too. It's waiting for us to make choices and decisions and waiting to pounce upon us. Brene Brown posted this thought to Facebook Friday morning. "I woke up this morning looking for someone to blame, someone to hate, someone who I could make the single target of my fear about the officers killed in Dallas and the killing of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. It was such a desperate feeling to want to discharge the uncertainty and scarcity. Then it dawned on me that this is the exact drive that fueled what's happening right now. Instead of feeling hurt, we act out our hurt. Rather than acknowledging our pain, we inflict it on others. Neither hate nor blame will lead to the justice and peace that we all want. It will only move us further apart. But we can't forget that hate and blame are seductive. Anger is easier than grief. Blame is easier than real accountability. When we choose instant relief in the form of rage, we're in many ways choosing permanent grief for the world. After killing Abel, Cain was afraid of the revenge that might find him. The Lord said to him, "It won't happen. Anyone who kills Cain will be paid back 7 times. The Lord put a sign on Cain so that no one who found him would assault him. Cain killed, and the Lord still loved Cain. Cain did a horrific thing, killing his brother out of anger, out of fear,